We just got back from the early showing of Superman 2025, James Gunn's introduction to the DCU. Got the Amazon early showing, 7 p.m. on Tuesday night. It is 10. Buckle up, because it's probably going to be a little bit longer of a review. And if you think you can judge my reaction to the film via my face, I don't think so. Okay. So this I'm doing with the boys, obviously. We all saw it together. And but this is their opportunity, to speak. I have an opportunity. I have a tendency to interrupt a lot, especially when I'm passionate about something, angry about something, liking something, trying to defend something. So what I would like to do is I'm going to go ahead and cover my mouth, and then we'll let the boys go and say their piece, and then I will say my piece. Here we go.
Okay. The movie wasn't bad. You should check it out if you got some free time. It's not. I was honestly hoping for more. I wanted more from this movie. I do like some of these characters. They did a great job. Some of these characters, I don't know. I don't. Just felt off. The music was off for me. It was very off-putting. I did not like their music choices at all. I honestly didn't think. I was expecting more Superman action. I didn't feel
there's
like
some, but
there's some, yeah, but like it's rare, and then obviously you need it for your climax.
I didn't climax.
No, yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I came in wanting to really love this movie, but I just think it's all right. It was an all right film. That's sad.
So I had no feelings, real strong feelings either way going into this. So I'm not disappointed. I think it's a pretty good film. I can totally understand people wanting to love this, but I think that what I got here was a pretty good movie. I think we got some pretty good action. We got some pretty good heart. Sometimes there was one scene in particular that I think it was really touching, and it was the one time where James Gunn didn't interrupt his moment with a ill-timed, often not very funny joke or attempt at humor. And so we did get one. I mean, this is a James Gunn film for all of the good and the bad that comes along with it, because I think there's a lot of times where he's trying to inject humor. In my opinion, I think he went a little too overboard with this, because I do think that there was a good emotional foundation here that we could have explored more of.
Yeah.
I think some of my fears were, for me, I don't know if it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it did feel overstuffed. It did feel like there was too many characters. There was great stuff here, and I was wanting more of it constantly. A couple characters in particular, it's like, man, I want to spend more time with these ones. I don't need you to introduce these ones. And I get it. HBO probably has a TV show and an animated show, and they're going to make cameos here and there, and there is some of the Marvel thing where they're setting up the next project in this project to a little bit. But I didn't hate this movie. I think that it's a pretty good film. I think it's a summer blockbuster. If you have a beer and you have popcorn and you're there enjoying the people who want to enjoy it, I think you are. If you were worried at all about the trailers, I think that you're going to not have as great of a time.
We kind of caught the whiff of that as well.
Yeah, and so I think that it's pretty good. And I can imagine how disappointing it is for some of you who wanted great, because I don't think we barely sniff greatness here, but we spent a lot of time way below.
We did. For me, the best thing was David and Rachel. They had a good chemistry, and that's what I wanted more of.
We got, 5 minutes?
Yes, and that is what was really disappointing, because I love those two characters.
Yeah.
Have them and just have the story be about them and facing them. But like you said, those other characters, we had to focus
and
on.
minor characters too. Like we're constantly introducing some of these minor characters, and they do it because they're important to the Look, this is an IP that has so many characters that people love for a huge variety of reasons. You don't have to show all of them in the very first thing. It makes you think like he's insecure about the future of the DCU in the very first movie.
But
it's
there's
like
more. There's more.
Yeah,
it's like, wait.
Focus on the good. Let us set up a foundation that everyone loves the characters as is, and then you can build upon that. And I think almost all of my problems with this movie is like it's the character count's too big, the subplot thing is too big, and we had too little time touching all the things that the film was doing really, really well.
Yeah.
Action-wise, there's one scene I really like. I don't like the way they filmed it as far as like cameras, because there's some really cool stuff, way more brutal than I thought it was going to be if you can catch it, because it's dark and like lots of stuff's happening and the camera's moving real violently, and it's like if we had a little bit more faith in our ability to do CG, I think it could have really, really stood out as like a really cool action set piece. Other than that, it's just stuff that I'd seen in the trailers because we watched a lot.
This is exactly what it was. This was like I wanted something extra. We didn't get that.
So ultimately, pretty good. I'm not disappointed because I had low expectations going in it. But I think unless you're one of those, there's a lot of weirdos on the internet that wanted to hate this movie the second it came out. Unless you're one of those people, I don't think you're going to hate this movie.
No, you're not. But I'm a big fan too. But I was disappointed.
Yeah,
I was.
Yeah, you were your little Superman shirt. Yeah,
it's a medium.
I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. All right.
Well, go ahead.
I'm gonna do a 3 hour.
Don't cry.
I'm gonna do a 3 hour review with a bonus 1 hour on my own. Okay, so stay tuned for that as I formulate my thoughts, guys. I'm shook. I'm shook. I don't know how to feel. I'm gonna be honest. We literally just saw this.
Yeah.
And I am of two minds right now. I have a critic brain and I have a fan brain. Obviously, my fan brain and my fanboyism for the character of Superman, I liked it. I had fun. But also my critic brain, there's so many red flags going off. There's so many missed opportunities that, I don't want to gush and start ranting because you're going to think that I hate the film when I don't hate the film. I love Superman, and perhaps I love Superman too much because I want him to succeed at the highest level. And when you see him executed in this particular way, this is a new Superman. Let me talk good things. This is a new Superman done in a new way that we've not seen on screen before, okay? This is a comic Superman. This is a vulnerable Superman. This is a human Superman. This is a Superman that feels, that gets his ass kicked all the time. This is a Superman that has those human feelings. But the problems are, when you do that, you have to balance that out with badass moments. You have to balance that out with great action. You have to actually have those moments have feeling. And unfortunately, all of the moments where I was supposed to be feeling something, sometimes it was there because of my love of the character, but it wasn't at the level that I thought it would be. And James Gunn makes personal choices. James Gunn a long time ago said, I don't want to do Superman. And then he said, I will do Superman. I found an in. I found, how I want to do it. And do I think it's a good start to the DCU? Yes. But as a Superman film, I think it's just okay. And I'm more Joe than I am Alex. I'm more disappointed than I am this, and I need to rewatch it. I'm gonna see it again on Thursday. But you have to know something about me. You know how I hate musicals, and when people just start singing on screen, you look over, you'll see me on the theater go, ah! Another thing that I don't like, unfortunately, is punk rock. And this is a punk rock Superman. And I don't like punk rock. I don't like the idea of punk rock Superman. I don't think it's cool to call Superman punk rock. That's just not my thing. And I know there's going to be people out there that think that's cool and that think that fits, but it's not me. and so I can respect, and I like punk rock from the outside. A few songs, the song choices here for the punk rock were terrible. I didn't like them, and James, and honestly, I'm going to start flowing with the negatives, but I want to continue. There is some positives here, but as far as negatives go, there's a lot of choices that I disagree with. But ultimately, he does get the characters. The characters are great. So it is a solid foundation. And what I can say is it definitely feels like a cartoon. It definitely feels like Superman, the animated series. It feels like Superman, the Justice League Unlimited. However, I would say it feels like those, but the filler episodes or the episodes in between the good episodes. And that's me being kind. The soundtrack was weak. Outside of one song, which is mainly riffing off of John Williams, the soundtrack is really, really weak, so it didn't help to punctuate a lot of those moments outside the John Williams theme. I feel like the film never slows down. The pacing feels very fast. It almost feels kind of jumbled. The way it was told, it definitely feels like there was some reshoots or the rumored projects where it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, how, there were rumors that there was title cards for that. And it does kind of feel like that. It does feel like it's been re-edited. It lacks a lot of the moments in between, the genuine moments, the quiet reflection. Joe mentioned this, that Lois and Clark, they're done amazing. Rachel and David have amazing chemistry. I've watched, I'm sad to say, over 40 interviews of these two, and I was hoping so much that it would translate on screen, and it does, but we needed more. There was a 15-minute sequence of them passionately being vulnerable with each other. They're in a new relationship, and it's a great fucking scene, and I commend James Gunn for being bold enough to put something like that in there and challenging people. People are going to be upset at Superman for yelling or Clark for yelling, but at the same time, that's kind of how relationships go, and none of it is in a overly inappropriate or anything like that that crosses the line, and later on, it's resolved in a satisfying way, and I just wish there was more of it. And I wanted to jump to the film's defense and say, no, it's not overstuffed. There can be as many characters as possible. But if there wasn't, there would be more time for Lex. There would be more time for Lois and Clark. There would be more time for Superman and Krypto and that relationship. Krypto is one of the best parts of the film. Mr. Terrific is amazing. I might actually like Mr. Terrific in the film more than Superman.
Yeah?
No, I like Superman a lot, and I like David's Superman. This is a vulnerable Superman. This is a kind Superman. This is a Superman with a great foundation, but he isn't given all the cool material. Mr. Terrific has all the cool material.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's like, I went to go see Superman, but he was a star. Mr. Terrific is like, this guy's fucking cool, but you're not supposed to do that in your own fucking movie.
It's not that the characters take up too much time, right? It's just that the time that is taken could have been used better. So I want to say it's overstuffed in the sense that, we're spending too much time with Hawkgirl, we're spending too much time with Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific and some of these others. They serve a purpose to the story, but it's a weaker purpose than I thought. It's a weaker purpose. James Gunn said 4 comics inspired him, and every single one of those comics are a better story, have all of these ideas done better, executed better, and the template was right there for James. And he decided, no, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to do punk rock Superman. I mean, the Crabjoys suck. Maybe that's coloring my opinion how much I hate that, but the soundtrack just sucks. And sometimes, I don't want to say it's superficial, man, at some points.
It's better than Special Man. Handyman.
so many of the
Candyman was
moments,
great.
so many of the moments initially only felt surface level to me.
Yes.
And they never were given time to breathe or reflect or go deeper. And that's so hard for me to say as a Superman fan. But what's weird is they're surface level and they're executed well at the surface level. I just kept waiting for that scene that we would deepen, that we would explore, that we would expand, and it never does that. And that's great for maybe general audiences to just feel good when they come out of the theater, but it feels like almost disposable. And
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Because you're like, yeah, it's a feel good, but you're gonna forget about it. It's not very.
Right.
No, there's no cultural impact. Or
No.
emotional
I
impact.
can't think of
There's no
like this
memorable
amazing
moments.
shot. Say what you want about Zack Snyder, but the man knows how to create images. He knows how to aura farm, as the kids call it these days. There's no aura farming here.
No slow-mo.
And I was going in the film, we don't need aura farming, right? There's a little bit here and there, but it's nowhere near at that level. And Superman is humble, but he does need a little bit of that, I think. And I think the balance went too far in the other direction. You take Man of Steel, and you take Man of Steel's action and stakes, and the stakes are low. The stakes are low feeling in this. And then you take this film and you plug them together. Then you have a great. Actually, it's still missing the depth of the depth of the scenes, because Zack's didn't have that. He didn't even have fucking Clark in the film until the very end, where he smiles. And Clark has done well here. That's another positive.
The
I'd like to
brief
say.
time we saw him,
The
yes.
brief time that we saw him.
I was like, well, that's pretty good. Well, I guess we're.
I
done.
wanted more to that. The subplots. I didn't really like the subplot. These are subplots that maybe I can be convinced over time that I like. I'm still iffy on Jimmy's whole subplot. This Jimmy X social media
it doesn't-
girlfriend stuff. It did make for some laughs towards the end, but I just didn't like it. It didn't feel earned. It didn't feel. I'm like, I'm not saying the guy's ugly or anything, but there's just no sense to it. It's like a joke.
Can't we just build up the brilliant investigative journalist in Lois and give her more screen time to have her do all this stuff?
That's exactly
Yeah,
what I wanted.
It's like
James Gunn wanted to put everything
You
in.
can't,
So he was like, I want to honor Jimmy.
I want to
Let me give Jimmy
too,
something.
But fuck Jimmy. Like this movie one should be about Lois Lane, about Lex Luthor, and Clark and
Yes.
Superman, and maybe a
Yes.
couple others sprinkled in. The problem is you wanted to include
Yeah.
everybody.
And Jimmy has, scenes that Lois could have done. And Lois does have the investigative scenes, but they could have been expanded.
Yeah.
And Rachel is an asset to this film. Her chemistry, she's one of the better Lois Lanes. And, okay, so...
Nathan Fillion was awesome. He completely and totally
Yes.
won me over. I was like, oh, this guy, he is exactly what he is.
I knew he would kill it.
Yeah, and he's just like...
He kills it.
He gets great material, and he's just so good. I mean,
That's Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
That's Guy Gardner. You know who sucks, though? Hawk Girl.
the sound effects.
Hawk Girl
Right?
sucks. And I
It's like,
think
oh,
I
God,
like
it's kind of
Isabella
annoying.
Merced. I
Yeah.
think she's a great
Yeah, she
actress.
is
She
too.
held up The Last of Us. We held on to her like, we didn't want to let her go because she's the better part of that. Unfortunately, she's lost here. There's nothing here. She screams the whole time. It's annoying. And
She's
this
Hawk
just
Girl.
isn't a badass version of Hawk Girl. And she does something in the film we'll talk about in the spoilers that I disagree with. Here's the things. There are certain things that I want. Okay. I had this review, and I want to... I just fucked this all up. I'll do it. I'll redo it in my 3-hour version.
How'd you fuck it up?
Because I wanted...
No spoilers.
No, so weakened elements, not pushed enough, right? That's what I want to get across here. Superman's preservation of life. It's here.
You would, sir.
And I like that.
Yeah.
But I think it could have been pushed more.
Yeah.
The kaiju is a perfect opportunity to write it in a way where the Justice Gang show up and they don't give a shit. And Superman does give a shit. And that's there, but it's dialed to 3. Why isn't it dialed to what it should be? 10. And it's wholly disappointing and dissatisfactory how it ends. And that plays right into the corporate here, this idea that I thought, oh, he's pulling from Kingdom Come. Oh, he's pulling from these comics that say, that Superman inspires other heroes. And other heroes are out there. This idea that metahumans have been around for 3 centuries. It even starts with words.
Three.
That was dumb. I'm sorry, it was dumb. And
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
like,
they were going
why?
to push this corporate heroes have been corporatized, and Superman
that-
just goes around saving people, even if it doesn't mean money, even if it pisses countries off, even if it does this. And that is there, but again, it's at 3 instead of 11 or 10, and it feels like James Gunn is too scared to push anything in any direction. And so this corporate heroes versus genuine heroes doing the right thing isn't really there. The Justice Gang is kind of just there. They're weak, other than Mr. Terrific, who, is compelled because he is a hero to help.
Star of the show.
It's like he didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings or push the envelope. And just refer to Kingdom Come or What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way for this idea done better. Superman versus the Elite, this idea done better. And let's talk a little bit about Lex Luthor. So I was coming into the film worried about David and worried about Rachel, and I'm like, Nicholas Hoult, he's got it. Lex is gonna be fine. I come out of the film, I like Lois, I like Clark, I like Superman.
He had
Lex.
He had the look. That's it.
He's got the look. I don't like
didn't-
the contact lenses, which you can clearly tell are contact lenses.
I think the script did it.
Yes.
It hurt his character.
Big disservice.
Because he's such a great actor. He's great in almost everything I've ever seen him in. And this, I don't
He
know.
just doesn't have the material.
I just think I don't know. So it's like maybe it's him, maybe it's material, maybe it's a bit of both. But like they do him no favors here because Lex. This isn't what the version of Lex that I like anyway, where this is like true.
This is billionaire Lex, and I do like that, but keep going.
But I was
You got
the
it.
thing I like about Lex is like Lex is self-serving, and he's not
Yes.
always. And he's the guy that sometimes he aligns with Superman, and sometimes he doesn't. He never really likes him. But this is just like almost cartoon
He's
villain,
too mean-hearted. He's too
and sometimes dumb.
and
Yes.
dumb, annoying. And I don't want my Lex to be annoying. I want my Lex to be a fucking genius menace. Scary.
I want to be afraid of Lex Luthor, of what he can do, and I want Superman in a way to be afraid of him. And this is just, and it's not even because I don't want to say cartoon villain because I think the animated
is.
version of Lex have
It's
been
better.
awesome.
Wait,
but I mean,
Clancy Brown.
But I mean, like different versions of cartoons, like bad versions, because I liked Superman the animated series
This
and
is a
Justice
little
League.
too over the top.
This
I
is just,
didn't know.
this isn't it.
The stupid moments. The kaiju's design just stupid. I hated it.
Well, you find
it's
out
cute at
why.
first.
It's
Yeah.
cute at first, and it played for a joke. I feel like there are too many jokes, and I wanted to take Superman. I'll be the first to defend Superman is corny. Superman is, hokey. That's golden, silver
Yeah.
age, bronze age. But I think there's just the dial is too much in that direction. There needed to be more moments of taking it serious, and there is. And I just wanted more. So I think the kaiju looks stupid, and some of the design stuff there, and then that one song choice for Mr. Terrific's action scene, I got
didn't like
ruined the scene.
Yeah.
I want to rescore this whole film. That's how much I hate the music in this film. I think the film would get 1 point better from me if you rescore the whole fucking thing. Total miss. Or elements I hated. I'm going to try to stay away from spoilers. I fucking hate Jor-El and Laura in this film and the direction that James took. If this is true, if this is
Characters.
we'll talk about it.
Characters said it's
They
true.
said it is. He said
the
it.
smartest
I don't like
characters.
this.
Yeah.
This is bad.
He said it
And I
was.
fucking hate
yeah,
it.
I did not like that at all. I was like, no way. Why?
Parts done well. Superman as vulnerable as human. He does. The criticism. He does get his ass kicked the whole film. And I was kind of prepared for that because in the junior novel, he was getting his ass kicked. He was handling, some stuff, but higher level stuff, he needs the Justice Gang. And this is a Superman that needs the Justice Gang. So maybe this is early Superman stuff, and eventually, James Gunn will get to, Superman not needing help and being the central focus or something. But here, he that continues. He needs constant help. Now, granted, as soon as they go into this pocket dimension, and you've seen fucking in the trailer, so I can say that word. I turned to Joe. I'm like, here we go. This is when we turn, and not a little bit, Joe, a little bit.
No, still
No,
nothing.
not for you. It did turn a little bit for me. The action ramps up. Ultraman versus Superman start to work. It's revealed in the film who Ultraman is. I like it. I don't know how much I like it for the future and kind of throwaway stuff. Also, Engineer. I don't think Engineer was a good choice to put in this film. I don't like her. I don't like her power set. I never thought she was interesting anyway from the comics. I need to reread Superman and the Authority. If you did, maybe you like her character more. But you could have made any other choice there. I don't know, Parasite, Metallo.
Snowflame.
Just don't look up Snowflame and what his powers
it
are.
had to be rated
He always
R.
has to bring this up. But so I think the Engineer and James was planting the seed for an Authority film. And recently he said, "Oh, the Authority film has kind of started spinning its wheels and it's not moving forward as well as I was hope." And seeing her makes me say, "Good.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I don't want a film with her in the lead or doing more." No disrespect to the actress or anything, but I think that she should be the throwaway character.
The power dilation of that character is wild through this movie,
Yeah.
where it's just like, oh, okay, this, and then it's like, whoa,
I do
she
everything.
can do that and that
Yeah,
and that.
yeah.
What?
She can
No.
just do this. She's in this situation. She just does this, and it just writes itself, and it feels like a cheap cop out. And
Yeah.
I just liked that part.
Well, she's Miss MacGuffin. It's like, oh, what do we need exactly in this scene? It's like, oh, how am I going to write my... Oh, engineers got it. Doodads.
Okay, so Alex mentioned there's some action, and there is action, but I agree with Alex in the sense that I don't feel like the action was filmed well.
Yeah.
It's not my style of action. The camera will constantly circle something, and it'll circle something with the central thing being somebody's head. And so it looks a little goofy. And I don't
Tiny
mind
arms.
it being, that one, one or two shots. Did it for Adam or Warlock, and you did it for Dwayne Johnson, Adam. And there's Superman does it, but it's not. It doesn't. The fisheye lens and the body distortion, it's too much. When Henry Cavill's flying through the air and he's smiling,
he did his pose.
it's supposed to be dynamic, and Henry has this awful vein, but you're going fast, and so you shouldn't look great when you're doing it. And I feel like it's too processed looking. It's too close to Flash visuals, and I think the cinematographer might actually be the cinematographer from Flash. And unfortunately, this is what comes through. And I didn't really like the action there and the way it was filmed, and I don't really like the way the action was filmed here. It has its moments. Trust me, towards the end of the film, the last 20 minutes I fucking love. It's fucking awesome. It is Ultraman versus Superman, and let's fucking go. And,
Yeah.
And as far as Superman's characterization, that is him. You have to get Superman absolutely correct in a Superman film, but it's him in a version that we so seldomly see. It's almost more like it's Superboy than Superman, but yet he's been on the scene for 3 years. Within Metropolis, and even longer, 30 years, obviously coming from Krypton as a baby, but I mean, openly operating for 3 years. And I don't know, I just feel maybe we missed the better film that happened before or the better film that happened after. And I get James Gunn was like, I wanted this film to be like you opened a comic. And when you open a comic, there's already a bunch of meta heroes. And you're like, well, what? You're in the world. But it does feel in that sense that you're kind of.
Though, but like a lot of the stuff that.
It have to be real high level.
But a lot of the stuff that he had Mr. Terrific do is like, well, Mr. Terrific was the star of the show. It's like you wrote the wrong main
Yeah.
character.
I will argue that Superman is also a star, but if you were to have me pick, who I think has more riz, it's Mr. Terrific. They got some stuff, right? But it's like, I agree.
But yeah,
why not put more for Superman?
Because you can't, because we put 500 individual
Yes.
things in this movie,
And I
he
think-
he wants to pay lip service to all of them.
Yes. I don't think I can say this.
So, one thing that kind of struck out, there's a scene in every commercial where there's a bunch of it looks like probably like acetylene tanks or something that get hit by something, and Superman runs up behind this little girl and shields her. And you think that there's going to be
I thought that was going to be set up so much better.
what you see in the trailer is the entire scene in the movie. There's nothing after it. There's no thankful little girl, and he's making sure that she's
Right.
okay, giving it back to the mother. There is nothing because we have no time, because he does these quick little things, and the thing is, it's like we're jumping from puddle to puddle to puddle to puddle.
Yes.
But he's hinting that there's an ocean of emotion and things down
the
there,
road,
and
down
he's
the
like, "Oh, it's over there." It's like, "Can we go over there?" And he's like, "No, we're gonna play in the little water
'Cause
here."
He does that, saves a lady and a squirrel.
Sometimes,
The squirrel.
but
there's nothing wrong.
Superman saves a squirrel, and there's nothing wrong with Superman saving a squirrel.
I agree.
However, but it needs to be placed in the correct spot.
Yeah.
It needs to be given time, and he just saves it in the middle of a fight. And I'm like, "Where are you right now?" Or something. It's okay. That's why when Christopher Reeve saved the cat out of the tree and gave it to the young girl, and she says, "Who are you?" As he goes, "A friend." It's amazing. This shit is amazing. It's that quiet
He ain't got
moment
time
of
for that.
reflection that
He
you
ain't got
sum
time.
everything up in that bit.
Yeah.
But sticking it in the middle of an action scene, it doesn't have that same impact. For some people, it'd be like, "That was stupid as hell. That's so corny." Again, you see all these mixed emotions, and that comes from me because I wanted this to be better than it ended up being. I'm not saying it's bad. The only reason why it seems like I'm fucking railing on it is because I love Superman so much. Because
And you
I've
wanted
read
it to be better.
I have a top 10 comic book stories. Every single one of those comic book stories, the ones that 24 pages or the one that's 200 pages, are all far superior to this story. And then I said at the end of that film, I have 20 more comics. I'm going to give you 10 more, and 10 more. I think the story on those might even be better. I need to see, where does this rank? And here's the thing, when I say Man of Steel ranks amongst the best Superman stories, Elseworld stories, it truly is. You got Red Sun. There's a few other Elseworld story, and I would put Man of Steel really high up there. But then when you're in Superman main lore, it's time to fucking lock down. It's time to get serious. And I feel like this is one of the average episodes in the Superman animated series.
I mean, and if you think
Or
about
Justice League Unlimited.
you put some thought into some of the things, like they have massively changed canon, massively,
And
as
all
far as
of those changes, I don't like.
yeah. So look, I'm not going to pretend to be a Superman historian, but like as far as like I would say the guy who knows a little bit above what the average person knows about Superman, they made some big fucking changes here, and it's like we're gonna have a whole universe. Like this immediately means that certain stories are gonna be real weird in the future if we explore them.
I told you in one of my videos, I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it a negative this. If it turns out that Hum is not Superman's who do that shit, all right? Don't do that shit. They did that shit.
-1.
Okay? There's after credits. I said, okay, don't worry, man. These after credit scenes going to be great. Nothing. They're nothing burgers. You could leave
I
the
thought it was
theater.
gonna be better.
You could leave the theater if you want. That's not cool. That's not cool. I mean, I know James is probably like, I don't want to do what Marvel does. I don't want to get myself trapped in this and that and this and this.
You didn't have to.
You have to. You're competing against Marvel. That's what Marvel does. That's what everybody expects at the end of the thing.
Well, I didn't expect
And people
that.
in our theater were confused. At the end,
Well,
nobody clapped.
We're trying. He tried.
Nobody clapped.
He tried. I heard that bastard.
This is an issue, and I don't think it's because they didn't like it enough. because they clapped at the beginning. They were so excited.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Yeah.
general audiences, when you're that excited at the beginning, you're going to clap at the end.
I was preparing myself.
But the problem is the ending doesn't have that momentum at the end. And that final credit scene and these end credit scenes, you know, they don't have that laughing, you know, it doesn't. It did, at least not for the audience that we saw it with. And these are fucking Superman fans. You don't buy those early advanced screening tickets waiting in line for the moment Amazon does it.
Yeah.
And so if anybody was going to clap, it was going to be them. Now, your theater might clap, but I was surprised and actually kind of hurt. They didn't clap at the end.
The post-credit scene.
Joe hates it, but I don't.
I don't like clapping either. The post-credit scene was actually just at the end of the movie, which it was such a weird end cap because I thought that we finished on something that was like, oh, okay, and then they just took it 15 minutes from the back and just stapled it on the back of the movie, so we don't like.
It's more like eating shawarma than it is, but when you put it right at the end of the actual film,
Yeah.
it's like a.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a dud there. It would be fine if it's like, oh, you stayed to the end, you three, check this out.
Yeah, check this cool thing out. It's a hint at what's coming next, and it's like, nope.
No, it's not. There's no hints at anything coming next. Oh, there is a cameo in this film, and that is how that character is depicted in its most famous comic book storyline, but perhaps, again, dialed a little bit too far in the direction. And it also pissed me off for other reasons that we could only talk about in spoilers. But I think we covered a lot. I think a lot of the side characters, you know, Lois does get to become sort of a little bit of a leader and kind of lead the Daily Planet cast into doing some things, but it's very muted. It's very minimal. And, you know, I did love her rapport and scenes with Mr. Terrific. That works. There's one visual gag that I think is so tired. The slow garage door opening, it did make me chuckle a little bit just because I've seen it so many times that it just feels a little bit tired. And again, I don't like, this is just personal preference. I don't like punk rock, and I don't like a punk rock Superman. I'm sorry. You can be mad at me. Dude, man, like, if they made a heavy metal Superman, I'd be so fucking happy, but at the same time, I'd be like, that's not really Superman, though. Like, Elseworld story, sure.
Yeah, I would be that
And
person
this is-
because, you know, I'm not into huge heavy metal.
Yeah,
like
I'll
you.
play heavy metal, and Joe's like, what is going on? Then Joe plays his yacht rock, and I'm like, what the hell's going
yeah.
on? Right?
Joe
We have
loves
different
Steve Winwood.
We had different tastes, but when you make a character that, it's like,
that's not Superman.
I'm just kind of
Heavy metal.
sitting there, kind of
Like,
going along, like
no.
and that's
No.
what yeah, and I do the same thing for your crap music.
It's amazing.
All right. Anyways, and I just don't like punk rock, and they made Superman very punk rock, and they say, isn't it cool to be punk rock? I was hoping for, isn't it cool to be kind? And that's the point, right? Let's be kind to each other and to people. But I thought they were going to push that more and push that at front, and it's cool to be kind, but no, it's punk rock Superman. I don't like punk rock Superman.
Yeah.
Some people might, and this might be your Superman.
Or they could.
He's my Superman too, but just not one of the top versions of Superman that I was hoping.
I mean, punk rock Superman could have been totally fucking awesome, but we didn't get more than 30 seconds of talk about punk rock Superman. Like, that could have been a
I
concept.
don't want any more talk of punk
it's
rock
like
Superman.
Nothing. We
Let
don't
that go.
We don't.
That is James Gunn, 100%.
Yeah.
James Gunn.
That was
putting
him. Yeah.
That's James Gunn. Loves punk rock.
Yeah.
He's gonna make Superman punk rock, whether you like it or not. I don't like it. Sorry. Some people might like that. Anyways, I think that is.
Final verdict, so we can get
Yeah.
into the hour of spoiler talk, because there's probably a lot.
I can save
There's
a lot more spoiler talk and scene breakdowns from my individual review, so don't worry, guys.
Well, no, I'm just saying because there's some stuff I want to talk about as well.
Good,
so.
perfect. But I do want to mention Guy Gardner done very well. If
He was.
anybody has a problem with Guy Gardner, you don't know Guy Gardner from the comics. He's done very, very well, and I can't wait to see more Guy Gardner in the upcoming HBO Lantern series and in future. They all converge on a building that is under construction, and that has potential.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to see more of that. Final verdicts
Final
for
verdicts.
Superman. Superman.
I don't know. It's
not
probably,
Superman Legacy.
It's probably like
Superman.
I really, really like Superman. I'm like a 6 or 7. Can't like. I'm at a 6 or 7. Because again, I wanted more Superman. David and Rachel did great.
Hey.
Their chemistry was amazing. I wish that was the whole movie of just them two trying to figure shit out.
Don't be wishy-washy, Joe. Do the right thing. Be a man.
Okay, critic
6.5.
6.5.
Ah,
6? Oof.
I
Good
wanted
tonight.
I wanted Rachel or I wanted Lois to be like more like doing more investigation stuff. Like we get briefly of it, but then the way it's solved, it's played for laughs. I don't like the Jimmy stuff that happened. I don't know what they were going with that. It just felt very off, and I didn't like it. I wish we had some cooler action scenes with Superman, but like honestly, it felt like he got sidelined by the Justice Gang, and again, some of the music and the action, like the action scenes that we get with Mr. Terrific was pretty good, but it was just not good with the song. I was like, what is it? Like I look over, I'm like, what is this song? Like it's weird. I couldn't really enjoy it.
Because you don't like punk rock like I do.
Well, it was a different kind. I don't know.
You do like punk rock? I mean, there's a few punk rock
There's a
songs
couple,
that even
but
I like.
It just seemed out of place.
But-
It was just out of place. Lex, oh my God, he just felt like a big baby. Like he didn't feel like a super genius and doing like, he just like a brat. He was a big brat. I was like, this is not the Lex that I wanted.
Right.
And I wanted to like Nicholas, but they did him dirty with this. Like he had to look and everything, but the way they made him like, I don't know. I didn't like that. I did like Green Lantern, pretty good, but again, we didn't need them. We didn't need this Justice Gang. And there's just one part that I did like, but was ruined because I'd rather have Superman have that part. It would have made him more emotional.
Let's talk about it in spoilers.
Yes.
I'm right there with you. I'm not super sad about it because I was thinking, that I was hoping I was going to enjoy it because I typically enjoy James Gunn stuff. And if you love everything James Gunn's done, I think you're going to like this one too. But I think for all of those reasons, it's super well put because it's like I think that there are too many things going on here, and what was shitty about all of the things here is he actually did a really good job with Superman. He did a really good job with Lois Lane. I think that Superman's family are great, and there's some scenes there that are wonderful. And so
I forgot to talk about that.
So, like, that's the scene I was saying. That's the one time that there's emotion where there's not a joke at the end. Mm-hmm. It's just a scene that's allowed to breathe. And I sat there watching it. It's like, do
more
that.
Of that, please.
Do that. And so every time I see Lois and Clark or Lois and Superman interact, it's like, yes, this is it.
This is it.
Do more of that.
When he's doing it, it works.
But instead, we have these Jimmy scenes, and we have Jimmy side quest adventures that like are convenient and ridiculous, and this other character, and we're introducing this other stuff, and then we got to go to a different part of the world, and it's just he wanted to do too much shit in a 2-hour movie, and I think it's edited weird. There's weird pacing in this movie. Yeah. I really don't like what they did with Lex Luthor because I do think that there are times where he's done smart stuff, mostly off screen. When he's on screen, he's a child and a bratty, shitty
that with
one.
Ironheart. It's like, show us.
It's like I want to know. I want to fear him. Mm-hmm. I want him to be a menace. I want him to be this foil to Superman.
Yeah.
Like where it's like Superman could just do whatever he wants to do. And then the canon things. You talked about one that you're going to lose a point. Like that one doesn't bother me because I don't have any attachment. There are 2 things that happen in this movie that are like,
that are way bigger. And I agree with. We have to save them.
Exactly.
But it's like there are 2 things that's like pretty big, and it's just like whoa. I can't believe that happened because I thought we were going in a completely different direction, but we did something different. So I think that I think I'm going to give this a 7. I do think it's a pretty good movie. I don't think it's a great movie, but I think if you have no expectations like me, you're not looking for an amazing superhero film. You're just looking for something to like eat popcorn and have a beer with. You're going to have a decent time. So I'm going to give it a 7.
I'm really surprised, Alex. I really am. I mean, when I was making my prediction video, I thought, it'll maybe make 115 million domestically opening weekend, 120, It's not making money. All this stuff about 175 bullshit is not happening. But maybe we are so out of touch that this is just general audiences love this kind of stuff, the surface level stuff.
Well, they weren't even clapping at the end, like you said.
Well, they were clapping at the beginning.
Exactly.
And then I felt that they wanted to clap, but there wasn't like, if you want to set up claps, there's ways to do it. And some directors know how to do it, but it wasn't set up for that here. Okay. So Alex made these great points about Lex Luthor. I'd like to put, say ditto on all those. And my critic brain is on right now because I have integrity. Just because I'm wearing the Superman outfit, I consider going to the Superman film in the Superman outfit. And just because he's my favorite character doesn't make me automatically love the film. And then all the Zack Snyder haters was really making me depressed. Like they were just wanting this movie to fail and wanting it to be bad, and I kind of want to stick it to them for them to be good. But I have to tell you my honest fucking thoughts. And when I made the prediction, I was like, man, I knew it wasn't going to be a 10, but I was like, man, this is going to be like, we're going to be like 7, 8, 9, right? And when I said 7 in my mouth, I'm like, nah, it's not going to be 7. They're going to be better,
just
right?
Flirting with the 7.
Just flirting with the 7.
Like, no, get out of here. Come back.
I think I would be at a 7 if I was like, Alex, I had no expectations. I haven't read 175, Superman stories and seen it done more effectively in shorter amounts of time and focus in the right areas. Here is James Gunn gets it, but they're puddles. And we needed to press it hard because this is Superman's movie. We're setting up the DCU too much where it's the only way we're going to get what I want is if a sequel comes around and it's not James Gunn. It's James Gunn produced, but he gives it to somebody else. I hate saying that.
Taika Waititi.
No, fuck you.
Not after the...
Anyways, so critic brain, like my fan brain wants to give it a 7, but my critic brain is telling me 6. This is my first impressions that we literally just saw it. This is my how I feel walking out of the theater, a little disappointed. We had a fan come up to us. He was like, I liked it. I asked him, what'd you think? He said he liked it, and I didn't want to, ruin anything. So
I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
either.
you don't want to take that away from anybody.
Someone's yum.
Yeah. And I don't want to yuck somebody's yum, especially with Superman. I wanted to come out here and tell y'all, everybody buy 17 tickets. You know me. I don't ask you for anything, and I wanted you to go out and buy 17 tickets, but my integrity and my bid is like, well, if I think it's a 6, that's like, hey, go out and see it if you want, instead of buy the fucking tickets now, screaming from the mountaintops. I wanted to do that, and I can't. If I turn on my fan brain for a minute, I say, hey, maybe we can get it done better in the future. If you do, maybe James will then move back into a producer role in a studio oversight, because I could tell his love and passion is there, because I could tell he understands the character. I'm still happy with him, and I'm still happy that he's in charge in this, and I do think that the DCU still has a bright future, but I want to put other creatives in control that really focus in. And this one just feels like, hey, I'm laying a foundation.
Exactly,
because
I would have loved to see more of Clark, because I thought he was doing a great job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Alex.
Well, the last thing I say is like we do a lot of TV and movie stuff here, and like some of the complaints I have about Dave Filoni is some of the stuff I have complaints about here, where these pet characters or these small bit characters are given like these elevated positions at the detriment of our main characters.
I think that's what audiences want these days.
I don't see. I have no idea what people want, because people are
we're out of touch.
People are
so out of touch.
We're out of touch, old man.
I know. But it's like it's so weird. I don't think that any of the people, the average mass audience, want to see Jimmy go on a side quest.
No.
Do you think so?
No.
Or do you think they would have preferred that over Lois Lane being an investigative journalist?
You're right. That's like a segment of Superman comic book fans. You know how small Superman comic book fans are overall?
Yeah, there's 7 of you.
And it's not even that segment. It's another, very funny. And this is another small segment of ones.
Yeah.
So. But that's what we're focusing on here.
It's like you got this amazing actress that people love, and she kills it in the role, and she's so good on screen with the main actor, and they've got this chemistry that you can't force upon two actors, and we sideline them for fucking Jimmy.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Know what we're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna talk me into it going to a 6.
I think you should probably.
I'm just saying.
I'm being honest. I mean,
What is wrong with me, man? I wish I could have came out here and lied to y'all,
Me,
but
no,
I just
like
can't
I
do
wanted
it.
to
I
like it
can't
too.
do it.
Like I wore my shirt. I was like, it's gonna be a good day. It's like,
and
well,
you know I'm
shouldn't
not gonna
feel-
rip it.
was-
I didn't
it's not-
prepare myself. Joe, when we walked out of that theater, I was like, Joe,
I already did.
I didn't even prepare
I already
myself
did
for
from a
this.
long time ago. Because again, we saw all these other people.
I'm not
like,
saying it's bad though.
No. We said
It's just
go
not
check it out.
great.
It's a popcorn flick. Go check it out. And we have,
it's just
like
a
Alex said,
wasted
have some
opportunity.
drinks, some popcorn. That's it.
I wish
It's
I had drank more popcorn.
serviceable, but Superman should never be serviceable. It's
You're
serviceable.
tearing me apart.
Lisa.
Okay, that's it for the review segment. Let's go into spoilers. There's a lot to talk about. I'll probably break this into a second video for spoilers discussion with the boys. Thank you so much for watching. Go easy on the dislikes if you're, upset that we're not bringing you Skittles and rainbows and stuff like that.
Shazam 2? Oh, gross.
I also think that, and don't lump me in with Zack Snyder haters and those disgusting fucking people, or those people that were outright trying to make this Superman, like, hating on it from a political standpoint because, and that's another thing, that the politics are really not here in and of itself, that there's morality, and morality can be considered politics. I don't even want to get into any of that.
no.
I can get into that on my own discussion. But anyways, it's not even really, it's a bunch of fucking hoopla so that people can fucking cash in on that. Anyways, so let's go into the spoiler discussion.